Sexual abuse of parishioners at the hands of Roman Catholic priests is in the news again. And the New York Times reported that attorneys general in at least 6 states will investigate actions by members of the Roman Catholic Diocese in their respective states. John Stoberski, an attorney from Greenfield, wants Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey to investigate the diocese in Western Massachusetts, and he sat down with Carrie Saldo in the studio to explain why.
It's not why now. It should have happened back in 2002, but it should happen now because the Pennsylvania Attorney General just put out a really phenomenal report detailing the allegations, the conspiracy, the cover-up, and I think it's a different time now where there's been a little distance from the first set of allegations that you can look at what happened in retrospect.
But Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, very separate dioceses, so why do you see a connection between?
Well, the populations of Pennsylvania and Massachusetts at the time when most of this abuse was occurring were very similar. Both immigrant groups, both East Coast, working class, Irish, Italian, Polish. The demographics are very similar. And what happened there and what happened here is the same, really. And actually, I think in this diocese, it's probably even worse.
In the Catholic Diocese, we did invite them in to have a conversation about this, and in the reporting that's come out so far through the Daily Hampshire Gazette, the diocese has disagreed with your contentions, and we do welcome them to come here and have a chat if they do hear this conversation. Now,
I'll respond to that. I know they disagreed with my contentions, but that's the problem.
In what way?
They need to have a self-examination or an examination by another source, an independent source, the government, to have transparency, to come clean, to let all the dirty laundry be put out on the table and give people, some perspective on what happened to prevent it in the future, and really also to let the church go forward.
And what Mark DuPont, who's the spokesperson for the diocese, told the Daily Hampshire Gazette is that they report all cases of alleged abuse to the appropriate authorities. And his statement went on to say that includes a former Massachusetts State Police trooper and others. So that's the diocese perspective. But for your opinion, Attorney General, having them look into this, have you contacted that office in any way yet? A letter or had a phone call?
I originally contacted Attorney General Tom Riley when
back
he
in early 2000s.
Early 2000s when he did the Boston Archdiocese, and I said, why aren't you doing this diocese? Why just Boston? And then when
what did he say then?
He didn't even respond. And he was originally from Springfield, and I don't know whether there was anything going on that prohibited him from looking at this diocese. And then I was asked a question by a reporter recently, and I said, in a response to the Pennsylvania report, I said, we ought to have it here. I've been wanting one for years, and I recently wrote a letter to the Attorney General, Maura Healey. It just was out, so I don't expect a response so quickly, but I should say the Boston Globe's called for a grand jury investigation, and so many other folks have as well.
And I hear what you're saying about having reached out to A.G. Riley back in '04, but here locally, Hampden County looked into the issue of the Western Massachusetts Diocese in 2004. There were some charges, but there was a statute of limitations issues there, and then the grand jury refused to indict on other charges. So what might the state's attorney general find that the DA didn't find then?
So that was a very narrow issue that was being looked at, and it's really whether Bishop Dupree molested a child within the statute of limitations. That was their examination. They didn't, it was a district attorney criminal prosecution. They did not do an entire review from all 4 counties in Western Massachusetts, nor did they look at whether there was internal corruption, collusion, all the mechanics that let this kind of rampant child abuse persist.
These issues of child sexual abuse, alleged here in Western Massachusetts, and you've prosecuted or you've represented people in many of these cases since the early 2000s. Why was this something that you even became involved with initially?
It's really a kind of an interesting story. I was born and brought up a Catholic. I still consider myself a Catholic, but don't practice regularly anymore.
Is it because of these cases?
Yeah, because of these cases. My cousin's a priest in the town next to me. I was on my parish council. There was a Levine victim. She was actually the church secretary for Levine's last parish. And she came to me and said, I know you're a good Catholic boy. my kids, I think they were molested too. Can you help me get help from the diocese? And this was back in the early 90s, I think 1991. So I orchestrated that, got counseling, dealt with the diocesan officials, and then nothing happened for years and years and years until that Spotlight report came out, that first day. Boston Globe report came out. And I saw that, and I saw Bishop Dupree said, we reported every abuse instance to the authorities. Well, I knew the first assistant district attorney in our county who actually prosecuted Richard Levine. And I went up to him and I said, hey, if I give you a couple initials, could you tell me whether Bishop Dupree really reported these folks? He laughed at me. He said, that's full of crap. They never reported anybody. And I said, oh my goodness, and my heart sunk. I then went and dug out the old file out of my filing cabinet and called the mother. The mother just fell apart and said, my son, he's doing so poorly. We should have followed your advice and got help for him and done a lot more. And he came in and said, I need to do something. And that was the first case I filed. And it was just
And so these were all tied to cases that you then eventually went forward and filed
right.
before the diocese.
It was just serendipitous, to be honest.
And are there people still reaching out to you today?
On my way here, I stopped at a shop, and a shopkeeper who knows me and I know him said, John, I've never told anybody this. I'm nearly 70, but I was molested in Greenfield as well. And I know all these kids were also molested, and I know a couple of them committed suicide, and nothing's ever been done about it. But
is that because they haven't come forward and sought any sort of retribution through the criminal justice system?
Well, most of them know that the criminal justice system is totally ineffective in dealing with this now. It's just the statute of limitations are so far gone.
But wasn't the statute of limitations lifted after those cases came forward in the early 2000s?
No. The criminal statute of limitations it's been changed, but for anything that happened before it, the old statute of limitations still
So it's just
exists.
the statute moving forward doesn't exist?
Moving forward, and they changed the civil statute of limitations somewhat, but still protected the church in the change of the civil statute of limitations.
So do you think the law should be changed in some way?
Absolutely. There are a lot of changes in the law. The victims' rights advocates have been pestering the legislature for a long time. They got half a loaf several years ago, but there's a lot more to be done.
And so for you, you're waiting for the Attorney General to respond. I know that you just recently sent that letter. Where do you hope that this issue goes?
Well, I would hope that the Attorney General convenes grand juries in every one of the dioceses that have not been reviewed yet. And
Outside of Boston.
Outside of Boston. Boston's been reviewed. Have that, and particularly in this diocese, go through the records, interview people that need to be interviewed, and get to the heart and the root of what happened here. I mean, we had a bishop who, was accused of pedophilia, of abusing kids.
Who retired? You're talking about Thomas Dupre?
Yeah, Thomas Dupre.
Who retired and has passed away since then.
Passed away. He, when he faced an allegation, he got in his car and went to a hospital in Maryland and was never to be seen again in this diocese. I'm the only one who saw him, I think, because I deposed him. And I've reviewed these priest files, many of them. Richard Levine's has almost nothing relative to the accusation that he murdered Danny Croto. There's press clippings like this, but nothing about that. And I think that these records were cleansed. And there's accusations that Bishop Dupree did it. We need to get to the bottom of what happened here.